look for technical founders or technical teams that can actually build these solutions. So that's a big part of it. I'd say the second thing that we're looking for, is it a big enough market opportunity? At Drive, we're looking for $1 billion market opportunities. Can this become a $1 billion unicorn type of startup if we were to invest and see them be successful? So those are two of the more critical ones that we're looking for.
Let me know when we live and popping. We live and popping?
You're a real black man.
I'm telling you.
Avoilan Bingham.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? From Southwest Atlanta, the SWATs.
That's it.
You know,
Cascade.
his brother, man, Avoilan Bingham, my brother.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, man?
I'm well, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm blessed, man. I'm sitting in the center of technology and innovation. I'm in the hub of Atlanta where everything that's popping off is great. Man, I've always seen you as a networker, a mover and shaker. I didn't know you was originally from Atlanta, Southwest SWATs.
Yeah, born and raised. Yeah, proud of that. Born in Atlanta, raised in Southwest Atlanta. Also lived in Decatur, for a period of time. Came back to Atlanta, come back to Cascade, Adams Park area. Played golf at John A. White.
Man, what it looked like growing up in that area, man, just coming from Atlanta. I think a lot of people come to Atlanta. I'm a visitor who've been coming here for 30 years, my whole life, so I feel like I'm part from Georgia because it was a Florida-Georgia thing for me. I'm from Duval, so y'all had to come down the I spot and get whooped, a lot of times, until y'all started getting better teams. On the Florida-Georgia, Georgia got better, and they used to come down and spank Florida sometime. But what it was like for you in an all-black city, because I was in a black and white city. What was it like for you growing up in an all-black city and just growing up, and how did you become the person you are today?
Yeah, I mean, I think growing up in a place like Atlanta, you saw the possibilities, growing up and being in a community where it was surrounded by black entrepreneurship, black leadership, knowing where our heroes live, like Hank Aaron and, his wife didn't live too far from where my grandparents lived in Southwest Atlanta. Andrew Young and his family didn't live too far from where my grandparents lived. So you knew what successfulness looked like, from a black perspective. And it was just inspiring for me growing up to see, hey, I could do that too. If I put my mind to it, if I do the right thing, if I, hang around the right people and apply myself, I can be successful. So that was always inspiring and something I always wanted for myself and my family as I was coming up.
You're a connector. You know people, you're a mover and shaker. Where are you right now? What are you working on, man? Every time I would see you, I would just say, hey, man, what's going on?
Yeah.
Because you would either be in the room every room I was in, you was in. And if you in every room, visionary filmmaker, power networker, and you in the right rooms.
Right.
How did you become a mover and shaker, and what was your background?
Yeah, man. So my background is varied. I was in the music industry for a while, so I was kind of used to that fast lifestyle, moving and shaking, having to talk to a lot of people, following up with a lot of people. So I did music management, managed artists for a while, got out of that, was in retail. So you have to know how to talk to people all the time. If you're not hustling, trying to find the next customer, then you're going to be out of a job. You're going to miss on a sale. So I got used to kind of being in that kind of environment. And then I got into the tech world around like 2018. Really as a volunteer with a music tech startup. And if you're trying to, really prove yourself and really get on, you gotta get out here and hustle, and you gotta get in these rooms and figure out who do I need to be talking to, and how can I convert somebody from a stranger into a friend quickly, and from a friend into a potential customer. So that was something that I tried to pride myself on back then, and even now, like how can I get in these rooms, connect with people, learn from them, but then also let them know what I'm working on and what I'm doing, and potentially make a real relationship. And that's something I've kind of held true to going back when I was in college to even to now. So
entrepreneurship is something that you watch growing up. You've been one. What are some of the things you think entrepreneurs need in Atlanta right now?
Entrepreneurs need capital. Entrepreneurs need capital. I talk to a lot of early stage founders, talk to a lot of small businesses. Entrepreneurs need capital to grow their businesses, and I think that that's a critical, element. I talk to founders and business owners, and I'll ask almost everything else that they need, and it always comes back to more capital to grow their business. So that's the number one thing in Atlanta, that I would say that any founder, any small business owner that you'll talk to is going to say. It's going to be the number one thing. Outside of that, I'd say it's the support of the community, support of the network, to help them grow their business, to be those first customers, to be those first advocates, those first evangelists, who can speak to not only the quality of the product, but the quality of the team. And as they try to establish themselves as a legitimate business. So I say capital is first, but then it comes back to that community aspect. And that's where you find success with early stage businesses, is when the community's engaged and they do become those first customers.
I'm a big networker and I care a lot about relationships. And I met you early on, and then my girl Fair Allen introduced me. And, shout out to Lab, shout out to Fair. At that stage, I felt like, I was seeing you move and shake. Now, I'm seeing you a little bit more seasoned, a little bit more buttoned up, man. What's going on with you? Talk to us about what's new in your life.
Absolutely. So I'm with Drive Capital. I'm the general manager for the Atlanta market with Drive Capital. So I lead our early stage investing for Atlanta. And really, it's been a fantastic experience being with Drive. Drive's based out of Columbus, Ohio. We have over $2 billion in assets under management. So venture capital firm, really with the focus on investing in what we call the driveway. So that's as far west as the Rocky Mountains and as far east as the Hudson River. And with this particular fund, it's our seed program, and really it's an investment into 4 specific markets in what I described, from the driveway. So that's Atlanta, Chicago, Denver, and Toronto. And it's investing in early stage founders. So these are typically software enabled startups, but we're investing in generative AI, we're investing in fintech and healthcare, B2B SaaS, e-commerce, a whole host of different applications. But we're investing in founders early. We're investing $500,000 in early stage companies. We've made 15 investments out of this fund since we launched it. Very excited about that. Excited about our partnerships locally. Georgia Tech Foundation has been a big supporter of what we're working on. And we've just found so much support locally from people who, going back to your point about just networking, people who've seen me kind of grow up in the ecosystem in a lot of ways, and so they're more than willing to show support. And it's been great to have really the entire city kind of supporting and wanting to say, hey, how can I put founders in front of you? Whether it's from Atlanta Tech Village or the Gathering Spot or the Russell Center or any of these other really fantastic, organizations around the city. So it's been great. The work has been great. Our first investment in Atlanta is a company by the name of Tabnum. Recent Georgia Tech grads working in generative AI around customer surveys, customer review, customer feedback. They're doing a fantastic job. So we're super excited about that. There's so much that's coming up. Innovate TL is coming up soon. Startup Awards is coming up soon. So there's a lot of exciting things coming up in Atlanta, and we're excited to be a part of it.
Because you work with a startup and you work with a tech startup and you work in the industry, what do you think businesses that you're looking for need to have? Like, what's the critical elements of what a company that you're going to invest in, what's the critical elements of what they need?
Yeah, there's a few things. I think, number one is going to be, do they have the technical talent, domain expertise to actually be experts in their field to build the solution to the problem they're solving? Like, that's a critical part. We look for technical founders or technical teams that can actually build these solutions. So that's a big part of it. I'd say the second thing that we're looking for, is it a big enough market opportunity? At Drive, we're looking for $1 billion market opportunities. Can this become a $1 billion unicorn type of startup if we were to invest and see them be successful? So those are 2 of the more critical ones that we're looking for. And at Drive, we're very thematic. So there are very specific themes that we look at and think about investing. I mentioned, some of the different areas and different sectors, but and we're data driven behind why we make those decisions, why we invest in those specific themes, and is why we invest in these specific markets, around those specific, areas, why we see the startup talent in Atlanta and Chicago and Denver and Toronto. That's why we have general managers in each one of these markets. So those are the things generally that we're looking for. And if we find companies that kind of fit that mold, then we want to have a conversation with them.
2 last questions. Why Atlanta and why you? Why are you the best guy for this seat? And why is Atlanta the best place right now to invest?
Yeah, no, great questions. I mean, why me? There's a few different things I'd say. I'd say one, connectivity to the city. As you mentioned, being connected, knowing people, I think is very helpful when it comes to how do you find these great companies, because that's a big part of what we're looking for is to invest in a lot of companies. I also look at my track record of working in startups. So I've worked in startups as an operator. I've worked, with Goody Nation and Joey Womack. So I've not only helped to mentor and work with a lot of founders, but it's something that I find a lot of joy out of doing. And then, I'm an Atlanta native. So I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. You know what I'm saying? So I've been in Atlanta my whole life. So I understand the dynamics of the city in a way that a lot of people probably don't, that I think is important when you think about how do we support, early stage startups. And then to answer your first question about, why Atlanta, why not Atlanta? Atlanta is home to over 30 of some of the world's largest Fortune 500 companies. We have some of the most diverse talent that you will ever find at a college, university level, ranging from Georgia Tech to Morehouse to Spelman to Clark, Georgia State, Kennesaw State, and so many more within a 30 to 45-minute drive, which gives you just unique access to talent, which you need to build these companies. You have the culture of Atlanta, which is world renowned. This is a creative capital. So you're going to find people who can help you build in a lot of different ways. So Atlanta is the reason, and I think is the best place, in America to build a startup. And we're super excited to be here.
Man, I believe in you. Like from day one.
Yes, sir.
I believe in you.
Yes, sir.
And I think that you it's a new chapter for you.
Yes, sir.
Like this is a great chapter for you. I think that you wear a very great hat that you can exchange it with the founder hat. You can exchange it with the mentor and the entrepreneur turned founder. I think it's very great to have that person in that seat because they understand,
right?
And they can grow a person. I really feel like you're a natural born leader, man. So continue to do what you're doing, Avoilan, my brother. I salute you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for pulling up, man. Everybody, this is about my network. This is me introducing my network to each other. This isn't a commercial thing. This is a community thing. I feel like a lot of times what happened is we don't have enough conversations.
Right.
Just little regular conversations. Hey, man, Avoilan, come over, man. I wanted to introduce you to one of my guys. So I got him coming up, man. Hurry up and get your son. I know you got to get out of here, man.
Got to get the kiddos.
You know what I'm saying? So give me a last thought. Just one of your thought practices on for founders. What would you say?
Yeah, I would say for founders, keep building. When we're in economic downturns, when things are not always at their best, when money from a funding perspective dries up in certain markets, it can be difficult to kind of find the motivation to continue to build. But even when things are at the level that they are now, I still encourage founders to keep building. And it may sound like kind of intuitive advice, but that's really the best you can do and really what you should be doing, even when things are not necessarily going their best. So I would also add, ask for advice, ask for support. Don't be too prideful to raise your hand and say, hey, I need some help. And can somebody help me? Because there's more than enough people who are willing to do that. No matter who you think you are, where you think that you're at, there's always somebody there who can help you. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Keep building. And, I think that you do those things, it'll help you no matter what's going on.
This is a master salesman. If you hear that mouthpiece has grown over a lot of years of making moves. And as a visionary, a pro networker, I love people who can on the second, he didn't know he was going to jump on camera. He came to meet me. He didn't know he was going to jump on camera. And I love these candid conversations. Give me your elevator pitch.
Elevator pitch for Drive, elevator pitch for myself? Or
give me your elevator pitch for Drive.
For Drive. Why Drive Capital? Drive Capital, as I mentioned, we're based out of Columbus, Ohio. One of the few funds that can be a forever partner, meaning we can invest from you at a pre-seed level all the way up to pre-IPO. We have vast expertise in a variety of different sectors. We're a generalist fund by nature, started in 2013. But we feel and we're positioned with what we're doing, the moves that we're making, the markets that we're in to be the market-defining venture capital firm, looking for the market-defining startups in every city in our areas throughout North America. So why us? Please come join us. We want to find the best founders if you're out there. And I'm excited to work with you, to meet you. If you're out there, please reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can just put my name in and you'll find me, Avoilan Bingham. But it's a pleasure to connect with you today, and thank you for having me on here.
Give me your personal pitch.
Man, personal pitch. Yeah, come rock with me. I'm super excited about the work that I've been doing in Atlanta to build community, to build a startup ecosystem in any way that I can. I've been a part of it in a lot of different ways, and excited to now be in the side where I can help lead that investment, can lead, finding and funding founders who we feel like really represent the best of what's happening in Atlanta, what's on the cutting edge of new technology, and wanting Atlanta to be on the cutting edge of that as well. So why me? I think it's an investment into the future of what Atlanta and what tech will look like moving forward. And I'm excited to have these conversations, to bridge the gap, sit down with people, learn where they're coming from, where they're at, and how we can work together. So that's a big part of me. You mentioned the community gatherer piece. That's a big part of what I'm passionate about, and bringing people together.
I sat down and I had this thought that I would find 100 visionaries and I have 100 conversations on a series of interviews just to expose Atlanta to themselves. I want this ecosystem to know and have conversations with each other. Hey man, thank you for being a champion.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being a champion, brother.
Thank you. Thank you for all you do too.
Let's do it.
Yes, sir.